lately I've started feeling like society has programmed us to believe in this one man, one woman thing. If you look at any male animal, they not staying with one woman for the rest of their life. I feel like we're like a different type of an animal, bro.
Kind of real.
Sometimes we gotta fuck our happiness. You know what I mean? So it's not natural for us to be buying water. We're supposed to be able to drink it for free. You feel what I'm saying? It's not natural for us to be eating meat. So you get what I'm saying? Like, so we can't make excuses and say things like, no, it's accountability per person. You got a responsibility to your woman, do the right thing because it's your responsibility, and that's not the agreement y'all made.
How can I cultivate that type of real, honest conversation or form of communication with my wife?
I think, you know what it is, bro? I think it's the initial one. It's that first real like we all have.
And by the way, this ain't about having sex. This is just like in general.
No, general.
I was about to say
it's
that.
about
it's about transparency.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. That's for me. For right now, I'm just keeping it buck with you. I don't give a fuck about that. We having a conversation. It just so happened the cameras are there. I would say what this man's conversation is so powerful, and we all know it's so needed. You're gonna hear so many different messages, so many different outlooks, so many different opinions. And one thing you might hear, you might partner up with something else. But one thing I do want to say for sure, and two things for certain, to have a conversation where men can be open, can be transparent, and now even understanding and knowing that there's a difference between being transparent and communicating is something that's major. You're gonna catch a couple of Jews. Sharif, marital status, single. I am a father of two, 27, 24, and growing up, I did not have a dad.
Hi everybody, I'm Keith. I go by Keith Sanderson, CEO, entrepreneur. I'm married, be 14 years this year. I have a 16-year-old son, and my father wasn't present. He was in prison during my upbringing, so.
Hey, PBM Louie from Beards and Bottles podcast. I have 2 children. No dad, never met him before. Married, and my 2 daughters. My oldest just turned 12, and my youngest will be 10 in March.
My name Mario. I got 3 children. My son 14, my daughters a month apart. They both 12, and actually grew up without a mother. And my father raised us, straight street dude, and I'm single.
It's your boy Awesome, aka the fittest dad on Instagram. And yes, I am married Islamically. I got 3 kids, 20, 7, and 5. And yes, my pops was in my life. Real strict father, so yeah, I'm gonna learn about that.
Hello, I'm True. Everybody know me as Antonio Government. Technically, I have 4 daughters, single dad, of age 17, one about to be 15, one about to be 10, one about to be 9. So technically, I have 2 groups, teen, youth. So I'm dealing with it. I love it. I love them. And my father passed away when I was young. I was 14, about to turn 15. So that was the only cause with mine. Before that, he was with me the whole time. So discipline was there, structured all the way through. But the transition of the age of 14 going to 15, we all need our dad, and I lost mine. So I rebelled after that.
I'm Chris, known as Woo or Skills. I have 2 children, both 16. And did I grow up with a dad? Nah, I ain't grow up with a father in my life. So, yeah. And I'm married, 3 months now. So yeah, I'm proud of that.
I'm Culture, married 3 years, have 6 children. My only daughter is my oldest, 28, twin sons, they're 21. I have an 18-year-old son, 12-year-old son, and a 7-year-old son. My father was very active in my life. Yes, proud father, yes. Been very active. And my father is active in my life.
Peace, my name True from Raw Success Podcast, also known as True Speaks Power. I'm married, 5 children. I'll forget their ages, man. 27, 22, 27, 3, and am I missing one? Listen, y'all know I love y'all. My father was not consistent in my life. We have a great relationship now, and that was through a lot of healing, a lot of therapy, and him and I being responsible for our part to play in our dynamic.
So I'm opening it up. So I'm gonna start off with Truth. As a man, what would you say the two top issues that you face today?
The two top issues that I face is what I would say managing it all. You know, having a job, having a purpose that I'm really connected to, financial stress of having a big family, and appeasing everybody, while at the same time striving to make my goals happen and keep my sanity and physical well-being. That's probably the top. The second thing is, which is connected to it, finding the time, right? And we all have the same 24, right? But finding the time to juggle it all. Because to me, that's what it is. It's a juggling act. Earlier, we spoke about this balance. To me, balance doesn't exist. Right. There's harmony, but not balance. So for me, those are the two top issues, you know, managing a marriage, managing my own physical well-being, purpose, goals, and things of that nature, I should say. And also the children, work. You know, I have a leadership position at my job. I have a leadership position in the community. So just managing it all, my brother.
Okay. Eben, I know your dad, he was very, very, very disciplined and very strict. And also it was a long distance relationship as well, correct? Mm-hmm. So how exactly do you feel that discipline that he instilled into you and your siblings, it worked? And then what do you feel made you derail?
All right, so the first one, because from with him being in my life, that pretty much gave me like the foundation, you know what I mean? So when I deviated and went to the streets and I ended up going to prison, and you know, I was in Buffalo, I was like deep out there. So the benefits of him being in my life is that once I went to prison and I had nobody but God, I just automatically you go back to the foundation. You know what I mean? So prayer, that right there is what really kept me focused. But what really led me to the street is the fact that he was so strict, bro, that he kept me away from everything that all my friends was doing. You know what I mean? So I understand, yeah, him being a father, he wanted to keep me away from certain things. But you know how it is, bro. If you tell a kid, don't touch that fire, what the fuck they gonna do? Touch that fire. You know what I mean? So, and this is one thing that I kind of talk to him about now. Like, when you trying to raise Muslim kids in an environment like this, I feel like it's crazy, bro, because as soon as the kid leave outside that household, everything that the parents is trying to teach the kids is going against the grain. You know what I mean? So it's like, that shit, like, to me, it's not realistic if you're gonna have him in this type of environment and you don't have him in Islamic school. Because I was pretty much good until high school. Irvington High, night school, shit went left there, you know what I mean? And I grew up with parents that they wasn't about to buy me shit. So the peer pressure of just being around everybody, you know how it is back then, they got jerseys, all that matching shit. My parents wasn't with that shit. I'm like, yo, I gotta get that shit. So just like I said on the other podcast, I started out robbing when I was 15, and it was for clothes, bro, sneakers, because I'm trying to fit in and look how everybody else looking. So yeah, those are two right there, you know.
Brother, we're all fathers here, and respect to your father for doing his best with what he knew. What words of wisdom, based on your experience, right, you being a father and also having a father who may have been a little extreme in some ways, what wisdom can you provide for us to be the best father that we could be for our children?
That's a tough question because what I started working on with my son, from knowing how my pops raised me, I'm like, nah, I'm not trying to do that with my son. And this goes back to what we were saying prior to the cameras coming on, is trying to find that balance. You know what I mean? Like not pushing them too much, but not giving them too much space. But the reason why I say that, that's a hard question because now I'm dealing with it now. With my son, for me not being firm on him, nah, he's out there. You know what I mean? Last month, he overdosed on drugs, you know what I mean? They had to bring him back to life. So it's like, what the fuck? So it's like, I'm trying not to be as firm as my pops was, but it's like, damn, like maybe that shit did work because it brought me back, like to a certain degree. So what I would say, bro, is you really gotta pray and put that work in because you can't just pray for your kid and because bro, times is different, bro. Time like the way that we coming up right now is things is different. Like when we was growing up, it was about weed, drinking. The shit they on right now, bro, is different. You know what I mean? Plus the social media, that shit changed the landscape of everything. You know what I mean? So what I would just say is what Keith was telling his son, confidence, bro. Like when you got that confidence where you feel like with whatever you got on, you that nigga. You know what I mean? Like if you feel like that shit is in you and it's not on you, bro, and that's how you raising up your kids, and just pray for them, bro, truthfully. You know what I mean? I'll be lying if I say anything else, bro. Like that's really how I feel about that, bro. You know what I mean? Cause I don't even really know. I mean, shit is changing daily. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I got one for Louis. The industry.
Yeah.
Popularity. Outside. Partying. Lifestyle.
Right.
You lived it, living it, and being married, as well as having a family.
Right.
How do you balance outside and household?
Bro, let me tell you right there. That right there that's an amazing question. Let me tell you why. Having these conversations with this guy, Ball, about just managing in my own personal life, trying to heal a child, you know what I mean? To go to the adult, and then you outside trying to party and drink. My health is failing me. You get what I'm saying? And I gotta find a way every other week to try to, let me go to the gym this week. Oh, I gotta take off this time. I gotta take my kids here. Oh, but I gotta be at a booking this time. You know what I mean? I'm booked at this club, that club. It becomes chaotic. So in between that, me trying to figure out, you know what I mean, the healed version of myself, not only trying to figure out the healed version of myself, but understand the business that I'm in, understand the responsibilities that I got. It becomes somewhat what he was saying, overwhelming, and it's nobody a lot of time to speak to in this fashion, because if you haven't lived like this, how would you know the answers to, you know what I mean, what's going through? So to find balance usually never happens, you know what I mean? But like he said, to find harmony is usually a safe space to find, and a lot of times you're probably not even gonna find that. I'm still trying to figure out dialing back without giving up success, because how do you dial back, you know what I mean, with everything that you do and still be a family man, still to be there for your children? It's kind of hard. I gotta be, for instance, since Wednesday or Thursday, right? We woke up, we came outside. That was 8, 9 in the morning. I went to work because I got a part-time. Look, my man Keith put me in with a part-time. I got a part-time. We did the part-time. We finished. I went to the studio. We cleaned the studio up. I had 4 meetings before I just even came here. When I just checked my phone, I got 9 missed calls just now, right? So every day I speak to at least 70-something people a day, every single day. You know what I mean? So on that Thursday, we sat down, we cleaned the studio up, we set meetings for the following week for people that I'm trying to come do marketing, that can do marketing better than me, try to set up guests, right? New cameras, doing research. And then now I got a lane that just opened up for me on Facebook, so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna keep this lane open and continue to make money from it, right? So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm calling DK, I'm calling his people. I'm having so many different conversations, which in every way, but then my children call me and they gotta go to the doctors. You get what I'm saying? So how do I fit it all? I'm still trying to figure it out. The question you asked me is I don't have the answer for. I'm still trying to. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm just, you know, me having this and just this conversation with you. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. I'm still trying to find.
I'm gonna tell you why that's such, and I'm not to cut you, to add on, that's such an important answer to say. Right. Because so many of us are in the same boat. Right. We don't have the answer. Yeah. And I think that the world who's watching us in this room need to know that sometimes you just don't know the answer.
Just don't know.
It's day by day.
That's
left.
Okay. And there you go.
Yeah, that's it.
It's okay.
Day by day. This is
it's
so.
Okay.
Thank you for being authentic and honest. Because my brother, sometimes I feel like I'm supposed to know the answer, and I don't.
Because I'm about to give it the keys too. Because this is what's the name. Because I don't know the answers neither. I called this dude the other day. I'm like, yo, bro, I gotta gauge my finances a certain way. You know what I mean? I'm like, I gotta move it this way. And he gave me some incredible answers, you know what I mean? I'm gonna let it swing over to him. He gave me some incredible answers. And I'm like, yo, but how? I'm trying to sit down with this mortgage lender and all this, and I barely even got the time for myself. And he gave me some information what I could do. Good looking, bro.
Now, I got one for you though, Keys. Now, that's lifestyle and being outside, right? And that's Louis balancing that, right? We already know that he's speaking all our language, right? Now, with you, we talk about BWS. We talk about you having these two hands. Your two hands, you use your two hands to create income, meaning women, meaning being in a space where you could be compromised, right? Meaning you have to make sure that you maintain a certain level of discipline while opportunities that go to the left are constantly thrown at you, but you understand as a man what you've created with your wife and with your household. How do you balance your household, building a business, and maintaining your discipline?
In addition to all that, you're also providing opportunities for other people. Salute.
Oof, that's a loaded question. A great mentor said to me one day, like, because we all have this same question of balance. How do we balance X, Y, and Z? I was told that there's no such thing. A powerful man have to just become a great juggler. So everything that you just mentioned, I just try to be great at juggling without dropping the ball. In business, starting with my household, that's the foundation. That's what I have to remind myself, because I didn't come from that foundation. I come from a broken home. So because I grew up in the projects, my father was in prison most of my life. All I had was my mother, who was a hustler, in the streets and everything that was in front of me. I do give credit to my uncle. He did play a role in my life, which gave me that sense of wanting to be a strong man and a provider. When it comes to business, juggling that, and especially in my space, in the massage space, just last night, I had an event with some powerful women, 10 powerful women, all CEOs, and that energy was there. I'm a good-looking brother. I come in there with confidence. You know what I mean? They had a great time. I'm going to pull out the red carpet, but that's where it stops. I have to remind myself that this is a service I'm providing. I'm not here for anything other than that. Because the moment you decide to deviate from that, that's when the money starts to fade away.
And then you risk. You're risking everything.
And then you risk everything. So everything I worked so hard to build, it can immediately be taken away from me the moment I give in. So,
especially your name.
Exactly. So the reason when I got into the massage business, I built the business so I don't have to be the best. Now I'm in a position where I give opportunity. I'm looking for the best, so I don't have to be in every space. So as a owner, I guess for me is like I just gotta be disciplined, even when a woman throwing themselves at me. I see it all the time. I receive it, I smile at it, but I stay firm in who I am.
Do you see your wife face like in your peripheral? It's like, hey.
No. You know, but it stays here, you know what I mean? So it's hard to explain. I just tell myself like, nah, you can't indulge, man. And I'm not saying I'm perfect.
That's growth, because I think all the way across the board, and anybody can speak on this, I feel like women think Okay, yes, we are visual creatures, right? But women automatically think if we see something and we like it, we're gonna go after it. Right. They automatically, they just believe that all men, how they say, all men are dogs, right? That's what they usually say. I don't feel, or I don't think some women, I'm not gonna say all of them, I don't believe that they understand that we as men, we also maintain a certain level of discipline. And you know what not this year, but the beginning, somewhat like 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, right? I ride on this now. Some people say, like, I understand how I change and how I morph. And I tell people, if something bothers me, honestly, I go silent. I don't say nothing. Right, Dre? That's how we are, right? We go silent. I feel like silence is like a dagger that go through your heart and then it loops right back around and go through your heart again. But then I also would say the reason why I'm saying something is because it matters. That's why I'm saying something. So if you can take my aggression or how I'm saying it, or I might be saying, because I'm passionate about what I'm saying. And it matters to me, like whatever that situation is, it matters to me. And that's the reason why I'm approaching you like this, whoever the person may be. And of course, huh?
So we had a lot of those conversations.
A lot of them, right? And that's why even sometimes when we talking as men, what do we usually, because when you know you're about to be aggressive, sometimes you got to say, first and foremost, all due respect. And then you go into whatever you got to say, because like, yo, bro, like I'm not getting at you. It's because the care is there, the love is there, and it all truly matters. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So I wanted to say to the brother, Chris. Now it was locking in. So this is what I'm aiming to do, True. So I want to make sure, because I'm again respect for everybody's time. I want to give everybody a moment to go ahead and tap in.
I got one for Mario next.
100%. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And then get my brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. I think what this one is good for all of us, right? Especially the married guys. But now you're 3 months in. Congratulations again.
Congratulations, Chris.
Feel me?
You have just taken on the toughest challenge of your life, brother. And what's crazy about it, this is the most challenging life, and you asked for it. You got down on one knee for it.
Yes.
Marriage is an institution, bro.
Yeah. I know. I was just talking to Louis about this earlier. I said, wow.
The elders do say that the marathon of life, that is all worth it and it is a blessing. Yeah. We just got to stick through it.
Facts.
But go ahead, brother.
Word. What attributes stood out about your wife, and where did they resonate from? Was it your mom? Was it an aunt, your grandmother? Like, what stood out about this one woman that you decided, like, this the one? I'm gonna go down on one knee and I'm gonna commit. What attributes stood out about your wife?
Honestly, I gotta say her loyalty. Her loyalty, I didn't look at her as anybody like my mom, my grandma. I think it was her loyalty given the situation that I was in. You know, I just came home from prison from doing 10 years in the feds. And you know, she was there the whole 10 years. I mean, pictures, visits, money, anything I needed. She made sure that I was comfortable enough, like, you know, to get through that tough situation. I mean, a lot of people, and like she always used to tell me, you know, she can't imagine what I went through in there. So, you know, she made me comfortable enough, you know, just to get through it. And I think right then and there, I said, yeah, this it. You know what I mean? But like, you know, it's not always perfect. You know, I came home and I had to get it out my system. You feel what I'm saying? As far as not like I didn't derail to do other things, but you know, I still wanted to be outside because being as though I was just so locked in for so long. And I think like when I thought about it, I felt like she didn't deserve that. You get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, she understood where I was coming from. So I think her loyalty, you know, what she did for me, and like I said, like she always tell me like, you know, I didn't do that for you to come home and repay me, or you get what I'm saying? I did that because I love you And, you know, I wanted you to feel comfortable, and I wanted you to know that you had somebody there, you know, to get through them tough times with you. Now, her, my sister, my boy Keith, you know, man, Keith grew up same projects, same floor.
Same floor.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so he's like an actual real brother. Like, so, you know, when Keith did what he did for me, when he can, you get what I'm saying? Like you said, at the end of the day, like, this man had to juggle a lot of things, balance a lot of things, that he had his family, but he also still made sure that I was good too when I called, answered the phone. So, yeah, so when I came home, you know, I think the decision was like already there. And, you know, I saved up a couple dollars, went to the mall, bought a ring, and, you know, got on one knee.
So now let me ask you this double question though,
Okay.
right? And I feel when for men, sometimes we feel an obligation.
Yeah.
Did you feel obligated to do that because she held you down for those 10 years?
In a sense, I felt like I needed that woman. Like I don't think because like I said, when I came home, I wanted to be outside. So like I didn't feel like I was obligated. I felt like that was something I needed to do. Like, you get what I'm saying? Because I wanted her in my life. Like, you get what I'm saying? I needed her in my life. So it was like I wasn't gonna give another man the satisfaction of how she can treat somebody. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, I took full advantage of that from what she showed me. You get what I'm saying? From what she showed me, I took full advantage of it, and I just felt like that was something I needed to do. So I didn't feel like I was obligated.
That's a bar.
What's that sister's name?
Yeah.
Her name is Damaris.
Damaris, salute. That's an amazing
Absolutely.
thing you did for that,
Yeah.
brother. Salute for that.
100%.
It's not easy.
100%.
Shout out to Damaris. Keith, so that's your brother from day one, man. And out of all of us, you've been in a relationship the longest. What's the one thing you could say, and we can all absorb this, that brother can use to make sure his marriage, his relationships, not only survives, man, because it ain't just about surviving, it's about thriving, right? So what would you say, bro, like for him and really for all of us? And then Mary, I got a question for you.
You like the OG in here, bro.
Yeah. Word
I
up.
would be, huh? No, man, I think for me, or just for the men here, period, it starts with communication. As I hate to say, because even me and my wife, Dawn, we go back at it, but we have to remind each other how we communicate to each other is important, and understanding each other's love language. It took me a long time to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure it out. But over time, like just last week, we communicated that we were going to plan out 2026. Just doing things like that together will establish our long-term growth. So when you're trying to get past the survival mode of day to day, now you're thinking, how can I thrive with this person? If she's that person and you need her just as well as she needs you and vice versa, then the communication has to be consistent. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. So you have to tell her how you feel in the moment. I'm the type, I can't hold things in. If I'm upset with you, we gotta have a conversation right now. Because I can't wake up tomorrow and still be mad at some shit from yesterday. That's just my makeup. It's like, let's have this conversation now. My wife's the opposite. When she mad, she don't wanna have a conversation. She goes on mute. I hate that.
I want it up.
She goes on mute, and she could do that for days. I watch her mother and father do that for weeks. And I said, we're not gonna be like they old asses. We ain't doing that. We gotta have this conversation. So if we don't have it in that moment, we're gonna have it the next day. And she's willing to make that sacrifice to have that conversation because she knows what our demands in that moment to make it work. So it just goes back to communication, honesty, trust, and planning together. I know that sounds cliche, but the shit works.
Yeah.
No, it don't sound cliche.
To get a little deeper too, I would say, I think transparency and communication are two different things. So I think we just got to get clarity on it. You know what I mean? Because me having communication was just me talking to you. You know, transparency is where I'm going, what I'm doing, at what time, at what place. I think we need to understand the difference in our relationships when we're having these conversations in order to achieve success that we need, right? Because opposed to me telling you I'm going to the store, I'm telling you what time, with who, why I'm doing this. I think transparency and just being having communication are different. So I just as a clarity, I just want.
Yeah, I love that. I want to add, and then Mary, I'm coming to you. I want to add too, my brother Chris. Never forget to advocate for yourself in your relationship. And I'm projecting that because that's a mistake that I did. And I would be mad at my wife and be be resentful. And then I realized, well, she's just advocating for what she wants. But as a man, I felt like it was almost, I don't know, brothers, like weak or to advocate for myself and what I want, like even if it's like intimacy. Like, you know what I mean? I felt like, man, I shouldn't be asking. You know what I mean? When no, it's the uncomfortable things that you should be communicating about. You have needs too. Mm-hmm. You have desires too. So what I can tell you as a man that's married, and that was great, part of communication and transparency is advocating for yourself in a respectful, loving, compassionate, understanding way, my brother. You heard? Yeah, don't ever feel like you too macho to say, like, hey, babe, you know, like, I've been feeling a little deserted. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. I've been feeling a little lonely. I've been feeling a little like, you know, like I need to get out with the fellas.
If I'm gonna be with you, man, if I'm gonna be with my wife at times, it gotta be a moment where I can talk to you like a whore. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. I'm telling you, look, if I'm going, me personally, just me as a man, right? Now, if I'm not gonna deal with no whores, and I'm telling you, I love whores, and I'm no longer dealing with the whores. You feel me? I gotta be honest with my wife. You know what I mean? It's things I want when it's grown adult time. So you know what I mean? I don't talk to my wife like, baby, I want to suck my dick, baby. Come here.
Even the stuff you might be embarrassed about some things.
I'm telling you, talking to you, filthy. This is what I like.
You just being you.
Yeah, bro. So advocate for yourself, my brother. Mario, brother.
But no, just to add on to that, like even me, I went through a time where, you know, I just went through that happy wife, happy life phase. It's important not to lose yourself, because at the end of the day, y'all two individuals, right? And y'all came together collectively to for a greater cause, right? Yeah. Whatever that may be. But you're still who you are. You're still an individual. You still have needs. You still have wants, just as well as she has them. So it's important, yes, grow together, but don't lose yourself.
Yeah, because they say, right, Mary, I'm coming to you. Because I've heard people say that men are selfish, right? And maybe we are, but the men I know, we're all sacrificing a lot. Desires, wants, careers, money, purpose, dreams, goals. You know what I mean? And so I don't know where the selfish men are, because all the men I know are suffering in silence. Mm-hmm. The brothers say he goes quiet. I think that's a horrible thing to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's your way to handle it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking 100%. How you handle your pain. Right. But I think we need to converse. And so one of the things that benefits me in my mental health, and I know that's a buzzword, but it's true, is that I have men like you all. Yeah. I was on the phone crying with Sharif about 2 days ago when we were organizing this. You know what I mean? It's as a man, and you know, it could be tough to do that, but I was in pain in the moment. Right. And so I let it out, and thank you for being a space, holding that space for me. You know what I mean? Not from a victim standpoint. He was empowering me, but he was also holding me accountable and whatnot and telling me what it is. So I just want to say that.
And to cut you off on purpose, I appreciate the trust that you instilled in me just to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. That's deep. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I thank you. Yeah, you understand? Yeah, so that's the energy that we supposed to give. You know what I'm saying? As they say, you know, one hand wash the other, both hands wash the face.
Absolutely.
You know, like that's what it's all about. Yeah. And that's why this is so powerful, and it needs to happen. It needs to take place. Right. And they might say mental health is a buzzword. No, it's the truth.
Right. Right.
It's a fact. It's something that we need to address. It's something that we need to talk about.
We all work out. That's physical health. So we got to do something for our mental health too.
Oh, that's therapy.
And the brother financial health, right?
Yeah.
So
that's therapy.
Brother Mario, I am so proud of the work you're doing, bro, with the youth. We were in the studio the other day. You had your son with you. Amazing, King. You did a bid. You came home. What I want to ask you is, you know, so many of us, you know, I sold drugs, did my thing. So many of us come from a life of crime. When Culture and I first met, we could have charged together. He was an adult though, so he went straight to the county. What was the spark of your transformation, and how did you continue to cultivate it at such a high level where now you're empowering the community? Because I think it's important for the brothers and the sisters now, sisters catching charges like crazy these days, for them to hear, you know, how can they transform their lives? And also tell us a little bit about your organization.
The transformation, I think is exactly what you seen the other night, my son. You know, like why my father didn't stop. Like I found myself in a situation in prison where I got caught catching on the dance floor. So they sit you in a dry cell. And it was like really, you know, dehumanizing. Like, and you know, I've been getting locked up since I was like 11, like multiple bids. You know, and this time, like I did real good in the streets and my community looked up to me, you know, and 3 of my younger brothers fell on my case with me. You know, so seeing people, you know, dying and going to prison after me is like, nah, I can't keep doing this. Like I have something better. That's not what I wanted to do. You know, I had businesses before I went to prison. So I was trying to lead them, you know, in the right way, but I was still just doing wrong. So I think sitting in that situation and thinking like, damn, you know, I don't want this for my brothers. I don't want this for my son. Like, I don't think my son could handle what I'm handling right now. And so it's like, and then I discovered I had a little ability to write, and I'm like, oh, all right, this is what I'm gonna push. You know, so, and my son, like, he lives with me now, you know, after just being away from each other for like 10 years. So, like, that's a whole, in this time with them phones and he don't talk, you know, it's just like trying to figure out how to do that. And yeah, so I just knowing that I had a lot of work to do. And yeah, so I got a youth organization. I published 5 books, 2 children's books. I go in jails and schools and set up programming. I was just on virtual calls all weekend with Maryland youth centers and messing with the kids down there and just trying to, you know, show them through my experiences, like how we gonna get free from this, man? Like really, you know, I'm still having a hard time transitioning. You know, no family support. My mother and father both in the streets.
How long you been home now?
Going off, I hit the halfway house like 4 years ago.
Gotcha.
So that federal system too, that'll learn you. I ain't going. Did a state Jersey bid, you know, that wasn't nothing. Probably looking for it. Knew eventually I was gonna see another one of those. But yeah, that Fed joint learn you a little bit.
He just said too.
Yeah, that shit is nasty.
Yeah, I could actually, not to cut you off, bro, like everything you saying, like I could actually relate to it, like, cause the change was like extremely hard. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like when I came home, I've been home, I came home 2023. So, you know, when I went to jail, like my son was only 5. And I came home, he was 15. Like, you get what I'm saying? So like, I can understand, like you get what I'm saying? But the change, it was extremely, extremely hard. Now I work, you know what I'm saying? So like, a lot of times, like I'm proud of myself, you feel me? Because I already know who I used to be. Like, I stayed doing bids, like, but like you said, like losing so many of the people that you came up with while you in jail, it really resets your mind and like your mental of doing things different. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like being locked down for 6 months straight, not talking to your family, that really, and like you said, you was in the feds, so you know, like that really like changes your ability to do everything. So I already knew once I came home, I was just gonna go.
So
The brother didn't finish.
so who's here? Are you there?
No.
I was just gonna say, like, you know, so my main thing is really tapping into the youth. Like, how do we stop this generational curse? You know, and I feel like, you know, when I go in I go in a little youth center in Brooklyn, man, them kids they worse than we was. Like really, you know, the way they play with the guns is different. You know, and it's not for I think we grew up trying to get money. You know, it's not like that. You know, and then when you get to talking to them, they like good, bright kids too. You know, but no guidance. You know, so even when I was in the Feds, seeing younger guys come in is like they lost. You know, I've been advanced. I've been on one. You know, how do I change that? You know, so that's my main thing on focusing on the community and the work that I do for the community. You know, and trying to get, you know, the song that we just did together is like getting other men, you know, on the same page so we could push this issue together. You know.
Love that.
So I say on this note, so how many of us here did a bid? So and 3 here, right? Not, right? No, right? No. Me, no. Right. So the reason why I ask is because what I feel like was taking place today with the youth is they glamorize it, right? They glamorize doing the bid. They glamorize being behind the wall. They glamorize carrying the joint. Yo, I got the switch. I got the blick. I got the. They glamorize it, right? What I would say to, and it's ironic that all y'all sitting like right there, but I just say, you as well, Dre. Kudos to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? And in addition to with your son and whoever have kids, we gotta remember a dad or a father, it's actually a title first. And when you come home and you're talking to your son or you talking to your daughters, guess what? They really don't know you. They really don't know. So they're getting acclimated to this person I'm supposed to call father or this man that I'm supposed to call daddy, but we don't have a relationship, right? So I'm only doing what I think I'm supposed to be doing because he has that title, when in actuality, we gotta learn how to learn that person, learn that little person. Just because that's my daughter or just because that's my son, that doesn't mean I know you.
Perfect segue for my question for True. You're in a unique situation. You have older children, young children, right? As a father, so I believe that one of the plagues in our community is the lack of masculinity in the homes. Mm-hmm. So as a man, as a father, what would you say is the most important quality of masculine energy?
I do have 4 kids, and I would say it's hard. It's definitely hard. But not to run from the question, more so I would say you have to create a relationship with that kid. Meaning, just because me and your mom and God created you doesn't mean that you automatically have to obey me, respect me, and everything if I never had a relationship with you. So you have to create that relationship with that kid, not being biased because of the name. I'm your father, so you automatically have to do. No, create a relationship with that kid the way you wanted a relationship that your parents gave you or you wanted them to give you. So me being a father of 4, all girls.
Ooh, yeah, I know. Bless your heart.
My beard definitely gonna be like yours soon, because technically I have a 8-year-old and a 9-year-old, which they about to turn another year, so it'll have to be 10 and 9. Then I have a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old. 17-year-old about to be 18. 14-year-old about to be 15. The dilemma that I have now is not being me. When I say that, not being the old me as far as aggressive attitude, knowing that having girls will humble you. Because my reaction for my son would be like slam dance you, throw you across the wall, whatever the case may have you, or yell at you or bark at you or whatever the case may have you. When I look at my daughters, and I was privileged to have them, definitely when my first one came, I looked at them and I looked at her and I was like, tears came to my eyes because I didn't know how to approach discipline with her. But I wanted to learn more about women in general. And when I wanted to learn is how to respect them, how to talk to them, how to deal with them, how to interact with them more. So now I have a present right here, my daughter. So my daughter guided me all the way through indirectly. She didn't know she was guiding me, but I learned more with my first daughter, learned more with my second daughter, my third and my fourth. I'm always in a learning class with them. So in public, I approach, not saying I was ever disrespectful, choked the women, whatever, to each his own. I never did nothing negative like that. But how I engage with women in public now, based off my daughters, is totally different. And they could do, as long as they don't spit on me or nothing crazy like that, we're not gonna have a situation. I don't want to talk about that. But I held them to my utmost respect like my grandmother raised me. So with my daughters and having daughters now, I say it's the most blissful thing ever in life. I can't change it. Even when I want to get mad at them, I still find a way to smile because their emotions, what they talk about. And the thing I'm in a transition with now is with my older kids, my older daughters, is them speaking, feeling comfortable to talk to me about everything. I don't want to hear about boyfriends, but I do want to hear about boyfriends because I want to teach them not how they have to settle or tolerate stuff from men. Men like me back then, or guys that was worse than me back then because I was outside a lot. But I want them to know and understand, be independent, but be independent and humble. You don't have to act like a dude to get a dude to respect you. You be a woman first. Respect yourself. If that person can't respect you, don't interact with them. You're not obligated to where you have to deal with everybody. So with that being said, I just take every day with peace. I be an open ear for them. They need a hug. They want to cry. They want to embrace. Whatever they want to do, I'm here for them. So I just communicate more now.
Well, so what I gathered from your answer, which is something that my wife has been requesting from me, is to be the vessel that can be with whatever emotions that she's in, to, as Dre said earlier, love her the way she needs to be loved, which is tough for me because as a man, you know, I have my own trials and tribulations and things I'm going through. And then I get defensive, right? So what I'm learning from you, and don't let me put words in your mouth, some of the most important aspects of masculinity is to be a vessel for women's emotions. I'm hearing a lot of compassion, and definitely you got 4 girls, patience.
Yes.
And what's amazing about what you're doing, brother, is that you are raising the standards. So a bozo just can't come and treat them any other way because you elevated the standard so much. They're gonna be like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, I'm telling everything. I'm hating, whatever. However a person feel about that.
Yo, you laying on the
letting
chicks
my
on the bag,
daughters know, like, yo, your dad, which, not even to say anything, but your moms gave a version about me. It wasn't the best version. It was always more so, he didn't do for me, but he did for others. But the point that I'm making is, I'm letting them know both sides without being biased. And as a parent, if it's a separate household, they got one version with the mom, they got one version with the dad. And with me, no matter whatever your mom did, I don't talk about that. I'm not here for that. She could bash me every day. I'm not here for that. I'm here for you and know what is here to protect your heart. I want to make sure that you know and understand you have to respect people and understand life is not going to be easy. And I'm not going to be here forever. But know and understand to carry yourself with the utmost respect and do what you have to do, no matter what. Don't do it because mom said it. Don't do it because dad said it. Do it because you feel in your heart that is right.
I had one for you, Ed, because I know you got to pull out in a minute. Right?
No. So this right here is off topic, but being that we all here, I just want to hear from y'all on how y'all feel about this, right? So lately, I've started feeling like society has programmed us to believe in this one man, one woman thing. Because like I've been like just thinking, I'm like, yo, I feel like we're like another form of a different type of animal. You know what I mean? Like if you look at any male animal, they not staying with one woman for the rest of their life. I feel like we're like a different type of an animal, bro.
Kind of real.
But to make things organized and to keep things structured, I feel like they made it like that. And that's why I feel like, yo, it's difficult for men to be faithful to one woman. I feel like it's going against our natural being, like to a certain degree. And yeah, we got to be disciplined. And I'm not one of the type of guys that have problems with being faithful, you know what I mean? But a lot of my boys, yo, like, and so that make me think like, damn, like what the fuck? So it makes me think like, yo, like we're a different type of animal, bro. They just call us humans, bro. You know what I mean? They call us humans, but I feel like, yo, it goes against who we are to be with one woman. A dog is not gonna be with one female dog. He's smashing and he's moving. A cat, you know what I mean? Now you may have certain creatures, but I feel like, yo, like, and then on top of the temptations, but that's, you know what I mean? So I want to know, like, have y'all ever thought about that, or have anybody ever felt like that?
Yeah, all the married men want to be quiet all of a sudden.
Not at all.
Nah, joking.
No. No. Everything you said is spot on. As a man, I have those deep thoughts all the time and those fantasies and just, again, I've been married a long time. I give it to God because it does take a certain individual to be with one person. And we've already got 20 years in, so sometimes I think about what the next 20 would look like. But as a man, I still got dog in me. I'm still, like, I have to look myself in the mirror and say, man, that dog still come out. That's why I go to the gym. It's just ways of just like trying to release and then maintain that dog. But that dog still come out. And this conversation, I think I brought up my wife, maybe not as much on polygamy or being with another woman or threesomes. Like, I'm into that in a sense, but society, it's not accepted. It's not the norm. Can every woman accept that? No. I don't think my wife would be even open to it. But it crossed my mind plenty of times.
Me too. Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm 100% with you when you saying like, yo, it's animalistic.
Why does that not surprise me?
And no, I'm definitely like, I definitely don't think that men are supposed to be one woman with one woman. But I also believe that through discipline breeds better relationships, and you get clarity through problems. So you having problems with your lady, and you having, you know what I mean? It's a breakthrough on the other side. So I know me being disciplined, me not being with other women, it's gonna push us somewhere different. You get what I'm saying? And I think that that a lot of times that as men, we gotta understand that, like you said earlier, you was like, yo, bro, as a man, I know you didn't ask for these responsibilities, but they're yours. Sometimes we gotta fuck our happiness. You know what I mean? So it's not natural for us to be buying water. We're supposed to be able to drink it for free. You feel what I'm saying? It's not natural for us to be eating meat. So you get what I'm saying? Like, so we can't make excuses and say things like, what's the name? No, it's accountability per person. You got a responsibility to your woman, do the right thing because it's your responsibility, and that's not the agreement y'all made. And you made this agreement, my nigga. So now you are held to accountability because you're a man and you made these decisions to be this person, right? And now you got to be accountable to be that person. So now when it's time to be accountable, you got to be that person. You can't run from structure because it's hard. You can't run from it because, you know what I mean, things ain't going the way you, no, nigga, you made this agreement. You feel me? And you sat on it and you said you going, no, you got to live with that. So yeah, I understand. I think this is what I do think, those wholeheartedly. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give it away after this, right? I think that if you married and you say, yo, I'm only going to be with you and that's it. But if you come to a woman and say, look, I'm gonna be with you and I'm gonna be with you. This is gonna be, and this is who I'm gonna be with, and this is how I'm gonna do it. And if you can deal with this, and I think that's a different conversation. That's just me personally. So I think it's very per person. I think I got a responsibility to treat you like a man. Like I was telling bro earlier, everybody else me, I want to treat them like a king because I want to be treated like a king, right? But the minute that if something happened, then I got to react to it. That you're not being treated like I'm supposed to be treated. So it's the same thing when you're dealing with your woman. This is my partner. Why would I shit on my partner? You know what I mean? And it be outside with you niggas, man. It don't make sense. You get what I'm saying? So
that goes back to what you said, the difference between transparency and communication. That right there, what you just said, that's transparency. Yo, I'm gonna do this with you and do this with you. You know what I'm saying? That's transparency. Communication is like, so babe, so what you think about it?
Correct.
Totally different. It's totally different.
And my wife asked me before. Let me see. My wife had questions before, like, "Yo, you want to fuck other women?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." She like, "What you mean?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I want to fuck other women, but I'm not." You ask me a question, I'm being. You want an honest answer from me? This is what I pay my own bill. Not trying to say it like this. I'm just saying I'm not fearful of nobody's feeling as much as I once was when I was a child. You feel me? Because when I was younger, when I say I was a child, I mean my 20s. When I was younger, I used to hold my feelings and certain things, not say things to certain people, not wanting to hurt. Maybe you should say these things, or maybe you should. No, the world is not like that. You feel what I'm saying? Now, is it times where I should be soft with my lady? Absolutely. Most times I am. You know what I mean? I want to treat my wife like an egg. You feel me? Be delicate with her, fragile. You know what I mean? But for sometimes, it gotta be me. You gotta know I'm a man. So some of these conversations, you gonna have it with a man, I gotta have a man conversation with a woman sometimes, with my woman, because you're mine. You gotta understand me and the duality of me, the wholeheartedly how I am. You know what I mean? And I love people.
I love that, my brother. True, you gotta say something?
Yeah.
I just want to ask him something. Is that okay?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Don't lose your thought.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I love the type of communication you and your wife have.
Right.
I feel like I don't have that. How can I cultivate that type of real, honest conversation or form of communication with my wife?
I think, you know what it is, bro? I think it's the initial one. It's that first real like we all have.
And by the way, this ain't about having sex. This is just like in general.
I
just want to say
it's about transparency.
It's about transparency.
Yeah.
I think the first time that you, like, I think, you know what I mean, you could be honest and delicate, depending on the woman that you want, that you with, right? So I feel like the first time that you sit her down and you say, look, you know, I know you got grievances. I got some too, right? Where do we meet in the middle ground? How can we get past this issue? And let's put all our cards on the table. Let's do like all of them. And I think that from that first breakthrough, that first real time being transparent with her, when you telling her the truth, look, I feel like you holding me back. I'm not saying that's what you say. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you were to say, yo, I feel like this is happening, this is why, whatever it may be. And I think the first time she get that and she's able to give it back and not be an argument or a thing where somebody's crying and you just leaving it there. No, when she cries, we still got to talk through why you crying. So you could cry through conversation.
Be hurt.
Yeah, some feelings may.
True, but some feelings will be hurt in those conversations.
They will be hurt.
And you have to mention at the beginning, like early on, like we may hurt each other's feelings having this deep conversation and transparency, but when we put all our cards on the table, I think there will become some better understanding. It's just, again, how you word it, but that conversation must happen. Otherwise, you're going to be looking elsewhere and start to abandon her and start to make her victim.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I always say and believe that anything can be said. It all depends on how you say it. It depends on your delivery. Think about the ambassadors across the world. They keep us safe across the world with one thing, which is what? Communication. They go into different countries with their mouth. That's it. So why should we feel like I can't say this how I'm truly feeling, right, with you? Because in actuality, your wife is your best friend, right? That's your best friend, right? It's your best friend, right? Your wife is your best friend. It's supposed to be your best friend. So if I can't tell you how I truly feel, then what's going on with our friendship? Nothing to do with intimacy, our friendship. Because I should be able to come to you and tell you my deepest, darkest. Because I know everybody's wife, you probably don't even gotta tell your wife nothing. But if you off, she could come to you like, what's going on? What's going on? Because what's gonna happen, exactly what Keith just said, she gonna sense it. Because I'm not saying that you might start closing off, but your attitude, this is what I feel. Your attitude is gonna change because what it's gonna do is it's gonna drop a seed of resentment. Because you wanna feel like I wanna continue to go to the next level. Bro, you hungry. You hungry, you got so much more. Yo, your personality jumps off the screen, bro. Your energy is like, it's non-stop. So that's like shaking up a damn soda and leaving the top on it. What's gonna happen? You're gonna explode. And do you want to explode on the person that you love? And then she's like, wait, so where'd that come from? It's because you never expressed yourself. You got to let it be known. And like Keith and Louis said, I think sometimes when you speak on certain things, you forewarn them. Like how we say when we talk about men, all due respect, and then you go into what you got to say. Babe, this might make you feel uncomfortable. And then go into it. Third, for me, what I usually do is, and I think what helps with the other party, I say I'm guilty. You know what? I don't like the way I used to da-da-da-da-da. Like I would admit how I feel like I'm doing you wrong. And now tell me how you feel like you understand what I'm saying? Now let's take the mirror and turn it around. I think that what it does is it opens up the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you give her the opportunity, whomever that may be, to say, okay, so how am I hurting you? Or I feel like I'm doing this. I might feel like I'm holding you back because I know that you feel like you can excel, but I'm not giving you the type of support that I feel like, and I think I need to do better with that.
If I could just add to that too, I think what you're saying is 100% true. We have to be comfortable having those uncomfortable conversations in anything in life. I tell my son this all the time. Uncomfortability sometimes bring the best out of you. You got to learn. It's growth when you pass that comfort level. Going back to conversations with my wife when I was a massage therapist before I became a massage business, women used to come to her all the time like, I don't know how you let your husband massage all these women. This me massaging Bernice Burgos, Erica Mena, all these celebrities at the time. But what I used to always tell my wife, they don't know what you and I know. The conversations we had on where my vision was, I had to be open with her and tell her my visions as to why I'm doing this. And 10 years later, now I have a business where now I'm delegating other people. I'm not the guy. But it took a while to get there. There was definitely a lot of friction, but I just kept an open communication and transparency on why I'm doing what I'm doing. If I got to leave the house at midnight to go massage this celebrity, then this is why. And again, she may not always agree with it, but she understands my purpose. And now when we look back at it, I think I made it clear, and I think there's some more better understanding.
I got a question for you, True.
Yes, sir.
Are you clashing when you try?
Am I clashing?
Yeah, are y'all clashing with each other?
You know, I have to keep it real and say I'm not even given the opportunity to clash because I'm not having. I'm being a coward. It's easier for me to talk to men than it is, like it's easier for me to have, and True, we're gonna get to you, what you gotta say. It's easier for me to have vulnerable conversations. I think it's because just being a dude from the block, like it's just, my dudes is really, you know what I mean? And then having that dumb stuff, like, you know, you're a sucker, like you sucker for love and all of that, like, I don't know if it's all of that, or maybe because my mother and I didn't have the best relationship. I love my mother did her best. But, you know, I like thinking, right? I've done therapy and stuff like that. You know, I was told to shut up. You know, or, you know what I mean, if I tried to speak and how I felt, you know, I'll get smacked or something like that, you know what I mean? My mother came from a third world country. She did her best. But, and I don't want to make up excuses. I'm being a coward and not having those uncomfortable conversations. For a dude, it ain't nothing for me to step to a dude, whatever. That's easy. But for some reason, with having like a conversation like that with a woman is tougher for me.
It is.
And so, to answer your question, King, I'm not even allowing the clashing to even happen. So I can't, so no, there is no clashing.
So
there's me needing to speak up more.
Do you believe in happy
And
wife,
my wife
happy
is
life?
great. Huh?
You believe in happy wife, happy life?
No, I don't subscribe to that teaching because I think for me that's, and I just feel like that ignores what the man needs.
Yeah.
And what the man should experience. And I know the saying is not saying that. And I know that they say you give a woman something small and she cultivates it and makes it something big, and as long as she's happy, then everybody else is happy. But at the expense of what?
Right.
Of my unhappiness?
Yeah.
And I get you, Louis, about sometimes a man got to put his happiness aside. I think men already doing that. And we do have to, we're men, so we're on the war, so we're on the front line, right? So if a war pops off, we're on the front line, right? So that goes without saying. But I just think that I just don't subscribe to that, bro, because
My thing is this though, bro. We don't supposed to be looking for happiness. We supposed to be looking for joy. I think it's a difference between the problem is we want happiness. No, that's too small. We need joy. That lasts longer. Happiness is momentary. You know, happiness comes and goes, but joy lasts forever. And I think it's different what we looking for. So that's what I mean. That's why I say, man, fuck our happiness. You feel me? Because that don't matter. Joy is something, when you joyful, when your child is being born, that's joy. And that shit lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying to you.
No, I love that. I love that.
Can I say one thing
I
too,
think
brother?
we're also taught to like sacrifice and compromise, like just like our emotions. Like we supposed to be tough. And I find myself, you know, from how I handle relationships before, you know, I could be like at a restaurant and be like, hey, look, babe, that shit fat right there. Now, I wouldn't dare do that, and it is a part of me that's being suppressed. You know, and it's to the point where, yeah, I feel like I'm tucking my tail too. And then when it does come out, it don't come out right, how you said. You know, so I think we're kind of almost taught to like put ourselves on the shelves, make sure they happy first, and the whole time we being neglected. We ain't getting poured back into, how you said, that 75% cup. That was fire, you know. And I feel like we not really getting we're doing the pouring, but if we're not expressing ourselves, if we're not getting it poured back into us, I had to leave that in 2025, you know. So it's I kind of relate to where you at with that.
Yeah, my brother, like, I love my family, I love my children. Y'all know that. Y'all already know. But being a domesticated man hurts. I do not like being a domesticated man. I'm training and I'm adapting because we have responsibilities as a man, you know what I mean? But yeah, bro, I like to be in the wild. But it also, but you know what I'm saying? But is this immaturity? You know, like why, you know, why did I choose this, right?
True.
Yeah, I don't know, right? That's why we're having this conversation.
I say it's honesty, is
true. Go ahead.
It's balance.
Yeah.
Is go back to what Ib said. It's just it's in us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just who you are. Like, you can't turn off who you are. You just said I like to be.
Thank you for seeing me too. Like, yeah, like the way you describe me, bro. Thank you for seeing me, bro. Like
100%.
When you know what I mean by seeing me, right? You really seeing me. Thank you.
No, I like to study people, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In order for us to communicate, and like, we talk to each other differently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We talk to each other differently because certain things don't get through certain people. Man. So in order to be a conversationalist, you're like, well, how can I get through to you, right? So like for example, like I'm paying attention to how everyone is responding, and now I'm also concentrating on who's saying what. I'm also concentrating on how much time who got what. So this is all going on in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about understanding people, like I love to understand overall. I love to understand. I understand people. I love to understand behavior, because once we can understand behavior, a lot of things make sense, especially when it comes down to women. And that's just a whole nother, I can't even say another book, but that's why I said, like how you said, like, yo, why do you go quiet? It's because I'm a Leo, right? So when I go quiet, I'm still doing my homework. Or how you say, when something happens, like, no, we're not going to bed mad. See, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. You understand? I'm going to bed because for me, but that's the thing. If I don't have enough time to allow everything to download, to process, because now this one thing that you did today, it might take me back to something that you did 3 months ago, and now I got to put the pieces together to make me understand why you did that.
So you going quiet is not passive.
No,
there's something going on.
Oh no, it's registering. It's downloading.
Understanding women.
I'm putting the pieces together. You know what I'm saying? Because when
my fault, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. Bro said understanding a woman is like understanding why you take a round pizza, putting it in a square box and serve it to you in a triangle. I said, God damn, that's my fault, bro. Go ahead. When you said that, it just came to my mind. Like, damn, understanding a woman is this complicated, and we humans.
Yeah.
And
go ahead, let's pass it to True real quick.
We really completely never understand the women that we're with. We just understand how to deal with them. You know what I mean? I
think you understand them in the moment too, you know, because every day is you're changing, you're getting to know each other, you know, and just to speak about being transparent in conversation or being able to say what we want to say, but it's how we say it. My relationship with my wife is a little reverse, right? We could say what we want to each other. Like I could tell my wife, I love her. She got a fat ass. She'd be like, yeah, you want to hit that? I'm like, hell yeah. So we would have these conversations. And you know, my wife, she's Puerto Rican, but she loves dark women, you know? So she'd be like, yeah, it should be nice in the bed, right? So we can have that type of dialogue. But our thing is, when we have conversations, is how we say it to each other. You know, just like yesterday, you know, what's the word she used yesterday? We was having a discussion because she was saying, well, for one, I know all of you guys, you know, your marriage is in the household. My situation is a little bit different. Me and my wife is 1,400 miles apart from each other. She's in Dallas, Texas, while I'm here. So already, it's a test right there. You know, you got insecurity, you got loneliness. Someone's calling, trying to FaceTime at certain hours, like, you know, the fuck somebody's doing, you know. So we already have that test already. All right. So our communication, she's a Leo also. She's very passionate. I'm a Gemini. I'm very passionate. I'm the shutdown person. I'm going to analyze everything. Just like even now, I'm quiet, but I'm analyzing how I'm paying attention. I'm in conversation, without talking. But I just wanted to say that me and her is a little different. You know, we're very passionate people, and once we have a feeling that we want to express, we're trying to get that expression out. You know, and it's kind of like we're waiting for the other person to finish speaking just so we can voice what we're feeling, you know, aside from, you know, just paying attention to each other. But I just wanted to put that out there. Like, our relationship is vice versa. You know, we say what we want to each other, but the problem is how we say it, or either how one's interpreting it, you know. Because I could be saying something, but she might be like, you're being arrogant, you're being this, you're being an asshole. And I'll be saying the same thing.
And also, to your point, I feel like black culture and your wife culture is different. You know what I mean? Like they're more, I feel like, you know, Hispanics, they're more open to that lifestyle, right? Like, for example, like I'm down in Miami, right? Altogether, it's just different. It's different. Like, they say if you don't want to be in a relationship, go to Miami, which is true. Ain't no relationships like they like, you know, it's like, okay, so it's two of us, okay, well, just make sure you take care of this and you take care of that, and it's a happy understanding. I ain't even gonna say it's a relationship, or it's not even boyfriend and girlfriend. It's just an understanding because we already put it up on the table. It's just a lifestyle that they understand what they signing up for. But I just feel like, man, like our blacks, like how I feel like us, we grow up and it's supposed to be, this is the way it's supposed to be. We don't supposed to deviate from what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be man and a woman, and that's just the way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah, true. So on January 2nd, I had a therapy session with Brick City Buddha, and he said,
Shout out to Docs.
Word, shout out to Docs. And me and you were similar, bro. Like, I'm the type that I kind of like hold it in, and I wait till I'm getting ready to explode, and that shit is wrong. And this is what he was telling me. He was like, you got to understand that energy that you feeling is kind of like a plumbing pipe. It has to flow through. So same with you. So even if you want to hold on to it to the following day, he said you should still let your person know that you feeling a certain type of way, but right now you're not going to address it. You know what I mean? You're going to come back to it. But he said that it has to flow through you. Even if it's not going to benefit your relationship, it may or it may not. But so it could benefit you because it has to get released, bro. If not, that should do damage on the inside.
I will say that being very physical helps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But still though, something has to be invested into the relationship itself, because it could be a form of escapism as well. You know, some people use the gym, some people use alcohol, some people use working too much, some people use drugs. Right, some people check out, right? So it's still a form of escapism though, either way. So I like that because it's keeping it still in the relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
My wife said that to me once because I always used to ask her, like, why do you shut down every time we're in a moment and having a conversation? And one day she was just like, I just need time for shit to process. Like, I don't do it intentional, and it was just, for me, it was just like, oh, wow, okay. Because I don't want to say something in the heated moment based on my emotion. And she know how I am, that triggers me. So I understand it now, and I give her that space, but I think acknowledging that as a man, it's key.
Yeah. Brother True?
I agree with that as far as what you were saying, as far as it's kind of curbing your words, sparing that person's feelings in general. Respecting that person at the same time. That's what men and women. We're dealing with people in the street. How you speak to a person directs what's going to happen next. Meaning, fight could happen, anything could happen, so you're protecting it because you want to preserve it, because it could be a situation that you think is going to be negative, but it's not going to be negative, but it's how you word it. True. The situation as far as responding and getting something, conversation out of your wife, interacting with them and knowing how to speak to them to where you're not pushing a button. I have the hesitant too, not with the woman, more so with my daughters, meaning my daughters that's teenagers. They're becoming women. So reacting to them, they know I'm aggressive, they know I'm the disciplinarian in the relationship as far as with how their mom deal with them, how I deal with them. I don't have to hit them, I don't have to nothing, but they know me as being the aggressor, but respecting them at the same time. Being that they are girls, it's sad that you treat your son different compared to how I treat your daughter. Still love them the same, but me, I react a little bit different. I can't do what I'll do to my daughter, do to my son like I'll do to my daughter, or speak to them that way. So I try that practice because I don't have a son anyway. But with the conversation was, as far as speaking to your wife, you have to find a rhythm, the same rhythm that you had when you first met her, first started talking to her, your approach, how I'm gonna get that person. Because back in the day, it was no Instagram, it was no messaging. You had to verbally word everything right to even get the phone number to get continued conversation. You're in the house, you're busy, she's busy. You have to be able to find that rhythm or that comfort zone. Y'all was cooking together. Hey, honey, you know what? I apologize from the other day or 3 months ago for saying this to you. Let her spill. Once she spilled, now it's going to complement each other. You don't have to get everything out that day that you didn't like or she didn't like. You do that in space-time. Within a couple of weeks, couple of days, now she might come in the house freely, start talking to you about a subject that you didn't even know that she was going to bring up. But that was a subject that bothered you, but you never spoke on it. So now, with that practice, it's not holding it in no more. I have a problem with that. Well, I'm a Scorpio. So I'll hold a grudge in until they build to the point that now I want to let loose. That's not good. Because the only thing you're doing is building a bomb inside. And an innocent person might catch the backlash of that. So with me, I'm learning now not to let all my stuff out. I'm not letting all my shit out. I could be mad at Louis for some shit he did 4 years ago, but I'm not going to tell him right now. I'm not going to say, all right, Louis, we going to deal with it now. No, I got to find the right time to talk about it and see what his view was about it first. If we got to go negative, that's negative, but we communicate about it first. The whole thing is about your approach and your communication. Not that you're wrong, not that she's wrong, but your approach to that communication opens up. Because if you come to me and I feel like you're tempered, she knows your rhythm. She been with you for years. So she know when you're upset, like Reef said, like he said, the brother right here said, they know you.
And you know what's crazy? And I'll still be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, but that's the stubbornness.
And
That's
she
the
still
stubbornness
knows.
is not.
Right. But then I'll get with Asim, do some push-ups, and tell him everything.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You guys, it all goes back to you. Everything in life goes back to you.
It's stupid because she know.
And it's like she knows it, so she be like, all right, I know what he gonna do. I know he gonna go down and watch TV or go do the podcast, then come back when he real tired, go to sleep. Still kiss me when I leave to go to work, whatever case it be. Everything is still the same.
Damn, bro, you my house?
But you gotta, but I'm saying, you.
She called you?
It goes down.
and I'll say on top of that, you know, it's important for you or whomever, right, to address it because sometimes, man, like one, that could be a W in their book. And number two, that can also be looked at as a weakness.
Yeah.
Because those women count on us to be men.
Right.
To be men.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not saying, you know, to tame your woman, but at the same time, but you got to be a man.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's like our kids, right? Something my daughter said to me, she was roughly like 12 years old, right? She said, you don't make us do anything. She said that to me and my kid's mother. You don't make us do anything. I had to sit there and really look at it and analyze it. I said, damn, she got a point. So what you want to eat? Where you want to go? You want to go and do this? You want to go to mommy house? You want to come to daddy house? You want to go to your grandpa's house? What do you want to wear? How you want your hair? They 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, and we're giving them the decisions to make and dictate what we're supposed to be making them to do. What I learned is people, younger folks, our kids, they're asking for that type of discipline. It's supposed to be in place. But women too. They need that type of discipline and that forwardness to know for a fact that that's my go-getter. I don't have to, if my tire flat, I'm coming back in the house because I know my husband got it. If this is behind, all I got to do is let him know I could go to sleep. He'll stay up. So when you start to, I say, you know, switch roles and don't say anything, it might be a W, and it's going to form a sense of weakness.
And I also think that nobody should be walking around on eggshells. You feel me? Because like when you walking around on eggshells, like you start to get more distant from that person. Like before I got married, like, you know, I used to do that a lot too, like shut down and not say anything. But it also made me feel like now I'm walking on eggshells, where as though I don't want to do like I can't say nothing. Like you get what I'm saying? I'm just always on the edge. So, you know, I just build up that confidence, and I was like, well, you know what? Just how Keith said, and just how all the brothers said, like, you know, sometimes like you just got to be uncomfortable with doing it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because once you at peace, and you feel like you don't need to walk on eggshells, and everything could come together in that sense. Like,
And the one thing,
I appreciate that, bro.
sorry.
Yo, because you saying what you said, how you and your wife communicate, y'all could be so real with each other, bro. That's very inspiring, and that's why it's so dope for us to have these conversations. Just for me to know, like, wow, that exists. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like it's real. Right.
Person too though, because I'm thinking now, man, maybe I need to be a little bit more soft with my
And you don't want to technically create the enemy in your house. You're creating a person because you're rebelling and not saying anything. You're creating an enemy close to you, because if that person turned cold, it's over. Everything crisis. Because meaning, like, she has the power to a certain extent. Because if you turn cold on her and now y'all beefing with each other in the same household, what do the kids see? They see division, and that division creates future division, meaning when your daughter or your son get married later on, they gonna know that their parents did the same thing and it was cool with it. Oh, it was cool because dad was still paying the bills, mommy still had her Benz and everything. Nah, it doesn't work like that. It's either you're gonna repair it or split. You're gonna repair it or split the whole thing up. And you don't want to split the whole thing up because you know you love her genuinely. You're just being stuck in yourself. So now you gotta let that go.
In addition to that, what's her outlet? And I'm not saying, anyone specific, because, it's like, all right, well, y'all not speaking or y'all beefing or she not pleased. So what's the outlet? What's she leaning in on? She leaning in on the girlfriend because, this, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. Or what is it? What's that outlet she's starting to use? Now you starting to form that division. Right. You know what I mean? So I got one for everyone, actually. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. You want to finish?
Well, I have one for everybody as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I propose a quick question?
True.
This, I guess, same topic, but the times we're in now compared to how we all grew up as men, I think we all come from similar backgrounds. Do you guys believe we're soft on our children?
We had that conversation in the elevator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, right? I'll start to break off with that. I did things to prevent my children from having to go through what I went through growing up. Like I'm from my block and lived on my block, 23rd Street, 10th and 23rd, right? And so I made some choices and some sacrifices so that my children won't have to go through that. However, I see that there's some lessons that they didn't get.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is when I was on the phone crying with Sharif, because of how hard I had it growing up. He mentioned that, like, bro, well, that's what made, like, that's one of the many things he said, bro. That's what makes you you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So actually celebrate the pain, right? Mm-hmm. You said something similar to that.
100%.
So just real quick, I want to say absolutely. So I think that we have to be creative in a way to design some of those hardcore lessons. Like, bro, you from the projects, bro. Like, look at what you have, and it's because of what you've done, Keith. Like how you grew up, that you are successful, right? So now it's like we have to be creative in how to do that for our children, so they can pick up the same lessons.
Oh, I just think, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. We are soft. I think we supposed to be though. Me personally, I got girls. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't got no reason to be hard.
Try to be hard, but they soft me up.
And I got and I'm grew up in that area. Right. And I'll be jealous of dudes with sons. I'm like, damn, I want a son, man. I want to go hoop. I want to go play football. You know what I'm saying, with my son. But I got two daughters. I don't think it's no reason for me personally to be soft. And nowadays, you know what I mean, we doing financially better than our parents did. You remember back in the day, your grandmother, your mother, like, you ain't getting no McDonald's? I just looked at the menu back from 1995. That joint was $3 for a whole meal. Right. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, you ain't had $3? But then you go back to the income, that's back to the finances again. Just your mother alone, she was making $12,000 a year, if lucky. You know what I mean? And then the other half was on welfare or whatever the situation. No, they can't afford a $3 meal for you. They got 8 other kids here they got to feed. You can't get a $3 meal. So what I'm trying to say is, it was a reason why they was hard on us. You know what I mean? Coming up in the 90s, we didn't have access to the information the kids got access to. So there's no reason to be as hard as much because they got the information that we didn't have and the access to it. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, I just feel like it's about putting our children on level playing field. Because I always tell my daughters this, man. I'm here for 3 things. I'm here for chastity, to make sure you ain't running around having sex with any and everybody that you want to have with, and we gonna choose the individual. We gonna choose the individual that you want to be with. You know what I mean? Through conversations, through, you know what I mean? Just looking at the guy's background, his parents' background, who they talk to, what they do for a living. We gonna choose that way, right? And then I'm here for structure. That's one thing, right? We're gonna create a structure here. How you supposed to be when you leave here? You know what I mean? Who you talking to? What things you believe in? Just structure, right? And then a form of discipline, you know what I mean, and accountability. So that's all one, you know what I mean? I'm here for these things for you as your parent, as your pop, but I'm not here to be your abuser. I'm not here to dictate your life in that sense. But I am here to, when I come here, right, from the ages right now, from now to 12, she just turned 12, right? I'm here to tell you what the things to do, right? Now from 12 to maybe 18, I'm here to help, you know what I mean, mold your decisions when you're making decision making. Mold it a little bit. Hope maybe don't do that right there like that. This is why you don't do that, right? I'm here so I'm a guy in that. And now when you're 18 to 20 years old, I'm here to maybe just counsel you. Because you're an adult, right? And I gave you the things that you needed to grow in life. I gave you these things. I'm still your parent, but I'm here to just counsel you, be your friend. I'm gonna be your friend, but I'm still your parent, but I'm here to counsel you. Son, I don't think you should buy that car. You know why you shouldn't buy that car? Because you can't buy 3 of them right now. So maybe you should do it this way, and we could save to that. And that's just what I think, my person. But I think that's the reason why we a little softer with our children, because information is more plentiful.
What I love about what you're saying is that as parents, we have to evolve even as parents. Right. Our children are evolving, they're transitioning. Our role and responsibility also has to evolve and transition. So I love that, appreciate that.
I heard this saying, right? And ever since I heard it, it's like, wow, it makes sense. It says, hard times create hard men. Hard men create easy times. Easy times create easy men. Easy men create hard times. So it's a cycle, right? So when we talk about, you know, like we came up hard, that's because it's like, all right, so we got that grit. We understand how we say when we was outside, we're not going outside to be, remember, press rewind. We wanted to stay off of Instagram. We didn't want to do all of this. Ain't no pictures, ain't no video, ain't no nothing. Exactly. We wanted to stay off of that.
When you on the block and the picture man come through.
That's about it. Right. That's the only time. Or in the VIP in the club.
That's the only time.
Yeah.
Hey, you record it, bro?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yo,
what's this?
I got the camera.
We never operated that way, but now it's like, okay, now we have to conform. But now these kids, we made it easy for them. So if like for example, with my kids, I'm constantly asking you, so what you want to eat? Where you want to go? What you want to wear? You want that coat? You want this? You want those sneakers? They don't have no type of hardship. And then we press fast forward, too many options, but they making the decisions that we supposed to make for them. Then they turn 18 and we thrust them out like, oh yeah, you grown. You're not grown. I tell people all the time, my daughter 27, but she's not 27. My daughter 21 and a half. Right. You know what I'm saying? She's not developed. She's not 27. She's not your average 27-year-old. Right. You know, like, yeah, you got your own place. My son got his own place. Y'all have y'all responsibilities and everything, but mentally and through your experiences, you haven't gotten there yet. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we aim to, like you just said, everything you just said of what you instill into your girls, that was superb, bro.
That's fire.
Yeah, that's superb. Like, you explain that spot on. You know what I mean? Yeah. And just to instill those things, and even as fathers, we instill these things, and then we have to a certain extent, to a certain point, we have to put them into the public.
Yeah.
We have no other choice. Right? Because we can't continue to protect them forever and a day because they'll never learn.
So I'm telling these dudes, man, he had my dude Kate like fit in. So he can't go to the corner store now. He was like 8 or 9. I'm like, you gotta let him go to the corner, bro. Let him go. I'm watching them from the porch. Bro, the school is on the corner. Yeah, you got let my man go, bro. He was 6. No, he wasn't. He was like 8 or 9. I'm like, man, let that man walk.
Now you go to New York back and forth on the train by himself.
But everything that everything you instilled in him, is what he takes when he get on that train, when he go to school, when he walk through those doors. The reason why everything that you instill in him is the reason why he was able to stand in that circle of men and hold his own and be able to take it in and not stand there on some old slouch down and, you know, not being open. He's always been sharp since he was yay high. And that's because of the work that you guys put into him.
He don't got nothing to lead, go out here and talk about something, oh, I gotta heal from this. Nah, he don't got no scars. And I think that's a beauty, right? We starting to raise healed men.
Word.
You know what I mean? They leaving the house healed already. They ain't like us, we gotta patch our wounds up. You know what I mean? Because, you know,
and keep going at the same time.
You know, because, you know, you getting better and you being better is individualized. You yourself have to get better. There's nobody else's responsibility.
Because when he leaves the door, I just think of other influences that can take.
That's just being a parent.
That could just change his whole perspective. I think
Life.
about,
Even at 60,
Yes.
you still gonna think that way. Because that's how our grandparents, when we used to go check on our grandparents, they'd be outside. Grandparents still strong as a mule.
100%.
But
100%.
when you seen them, you didn't see that in their eyes. You automatically knew your grandfather was still strong. You're not gonna try him. You're gonna do everything you're supposed to do. Because everything back in the day was namesake. And that's what I love about that. Your family, who you was related to, you went to family reunions, you did everything based off of what was needed. That's why I said with the generation now, everything's electronic, push button, everything else like that. So sometimes we gotta give them a flashback sometimes of how we was raised and how our parents was raised to keep them grounded. So sometimes in life, when we're not there, they're like 4 states over or another country over. They're like, you know what? This is what my dad or my mom would do, or my uncle or my cousin Jerry or whatever. They get that reflection because that keeps them moving forward. Because we can't be there hand by hand every day. We can't do it.
And I think the lessons is learned by teaching our children our past. Exactly. Because we try to teach them where we at today as that perfect man or still evolving. I like to pull my scabs off and tell them like this is who I used to be.
Sometimes you gotta do that.
This is I show them everything. I take them right back to the hood and just reminisce.
I told you, man, when you showed me that picture with you and Driz, I'm like, yo, who this? I never saw him that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always saw Keith, the clean cut, Keith, the clean dude. So when he saw me dreads and big baggy pants, I'm like, yo, bro, who's this?
Mavis.
Oh, yeah. Brother Mario, you got something, brother?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm definitely raising my kids soft. And it's, like, I don't want to put my hands on my son. I want to, when he get 18, I want to say I ain't have to do that. And sometimes, like, I be having such a hard time, like, I even, like, envision, like, me hitting him and, like, just his shit leaking. But that shit is abuse. No matter how you look at it, letting a baby cry, like, it's psychology, and it's when I, like, going back to school, I'm starting to learn these things and reading so many books. It's like, yeah, us taught to be tough and hard and all of that shit. That shit caused us damage. That's why we going into these relationships like this, you know. So, bro, he pointed out some 3, but it was one that he forgot, and it's love. Like, making sure I'm hugging my son. Like, I ain't get those, you know. I was raised by my father, but my father was in and out of prison and straight street shit, a pimp and a addict. So, like, I know, and grew up with like 6 of us, so it wasn't enough hugs to go around, you know. So, like, giving them that, like, I don't want to be hard on him. Society gonna be hard on him, you know. So I feel like we have to, because we know the traumas and the things that they like, America raises lonely children. It's, you know what I mean? You know, so, but what you said, finding a creative way to instill these things into them, I think that is the key. You know, I don't eat fast food. My son does. His mother's in Maryland. She sends him money. He goes out and buys it himself. I put all fruit, every fruit. I got every fruit in my refrigerator, and he won't eat it. You know, And I'm not gonna force him to eat it, but like you said, you planting them seeds. Yeah. When he start to get a little too chubby and he want to figure out why his asthma bothering him, then he'll figure it out. You know.
So question, right? Because this is what I was taught, right? So my job as a parent is to prepare my kids for what the real world is going to put them through. So I have to give them the tools that they're going to need to survive the real world. So it's like we can't be hard on them, but then again, the world ain't going to be soft.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's like how do you find that middle where it's like, yeah, you want to give them that love, because just like I was saying earlier, I didn't want to be like my pops to my son, because I didn't want to chase him to the streets. But then when I look at what ended up happening for me not being like him, for me not wanting to be hard on him, you know what I mean? Now it's like my son could have killed himself. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do we find that middle? You know what I mean?
You got to create the balance, and just being passive and not equipping them to be outside, because like you said, outside not gonna be like nice to them.
Nah, at all.
It's not gonna be nice to them. So we have to create that balance for them, you know. And when you talk to your kids, like, they'll tell you, you know. For example, my daughter, she said we got a brand new car at 17 years old. By the time she was 19, she said that was the worst thing y'all could have ever did to me, was to give me a car and give me freedom to go where I wanted to go at 17 years old. Like, our kids tell us, like, that didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't the right thing to do. But as parents, we say, like, oh, I want to do this for you, and I want to do that, and I want to give you all the things that I never had. But we might be deteriorating them, right? And not giving them the things that they supposed to have.
It's just knowledge, man. That's what they need.
Like, I think it's balance also, yeah. What you're saying, like, for instance, you know, my daughter, right? So, and my twin sons, like, the three of them, they all have their individual cars, and my daughter had her own apartment since she was 18. But when she got her first vehicle, you know, me and her mother, we bought her that car. But we bought her with the car with her knowing that, okay, we're going to purchase this for you, but you're going to pay this insurance. That insurance is going under your name. So we're giving you a tool. We're helping you with a tool, right? But the responsibility is yours. She will call me, tire need fix, oil need changing, things of that nature. So I taught her how to change her own tires. I actually taught her how to change her oil, right? But I taught her with the intent of, for one, not depending on the man to do it, because I'll be damned if a man gonna be using that as leverage over my daughter. My sons, same deal. They got their first car, but they got it with the knowing that they're gonna pay their own insurance. So I believe us as parents, yes, we want to shield them from all the bullshit we've been through, right? Because safe to say, all of us been through some things, right? So we do want to shield them, we do want to protect them, but we can't. Well, I would say we shouldn't allow them to fail. They should be allowed a room to fail a little bit, right? I'm gonna let my son fall, I'm gonna let my daughter fall, but I'll be there to be like, hey, here go a Band-Aid, here go some alcohol, clean that off. You're gonna be okay, that's gonna heal. Let's keep going, you know? So that's how I manage it with my children, and also I do let them know I love them. Like, I was raised with both of my parents. My mother was the disciplinary. She was the one that had a hella good aim, where she'll throw a shoe like 100 yards and hit you. And my father was the one that's, you know, I love you, son. But he'll go work 80 hours a week, you know, come home dead ass tired, don't have 5 minutes for me because he's tired. Used to piss me off, but when I got older and had my own family, I understood why. And I just respected him that much more because I'm doing the same thing and I just be tired as hell. I have all the intentions of being there presently with my children, going out, doing these things, but I'm tired. My sons be like, you know, I understand, Pop. So now they understand too, you know.
Culture, I do agree with that 100%. And when I was speaking of discipline with my kids, it was more so not on the physical standpoint, because my father, for the years that he was alive in my life, he only hit me once in my life. And that was technically once because I was deviant. I cut school in 3rd grade. How I cut school in 3rd grade, I put my mind together as far as thoughts on how I was going to do it with another student in the school. But I was so smart not to think that I had an older brother and they was going to call and ask why the other student, which was me, in school. So what happened, in short story, teacher called, asked my mother why I wasn't in school. She was like, no, I sent them 2 on the bus to go to school. I don't know where he's at. At that time, my mom and dad wasn't together. Separate house. But when I say separate house, it was during the school week, Monday through Friday, we were with my mom. It was a town over. A weekend, we were with our dad every week like clockwork till he passed away. My mom called my dad. I get home from school, which I wasn't at school. Had the book bag, threw extra books in there and everything. And I'm coming to the house. My dad was 6'5", about 215, 8-pack, and was a laborer, construction worker, worked for the local union. I'm coming down the hallway to get to the house. I just see one boot. This shit, I mean, excuse my language, it had sheetrock on it, whatever the case may have you. I'm like, yeah. Because I waited by the bus. When the bus came, act like I got off the bus. So I'm coming through the park to get to the house. So everything programmed. Got books for extra homework. We did mad shit, whatever. I started walking down the hallway. When I walked down the hallway, I seen the boot. Yo, this is weird. My mother and dad are separated. We go to my dad's house on the weekend with my mom during the week. They're not together. They're not supposed to be in the house.
What is boot doing here?
No, the boot, yeah, but the boot, I'm coming down. I just see the boot.
Keep in mind, there's only one boot.
Yeah, I don't see
one.
Yo, I don't see his body. He wears size 12. So size 12 look crazy by the doorway. So I'm walking, I'm like, oh my God, what's the counter I'm gonna have for this? Walked in the house, my dad to the left, my mom. My mom is right there, love her to death. She's no longer here. But every time it seemed like back in the day you was gonna get a beating, the house was hot or somebody was cooking food or whatever the case may have you. My mom is cooking and by the sink, my dad's right there. My dad stands up, short with words. When I say he never had to physically discipline me, he never had. He had that look that you knew to give him the right answer. He said to me, and I keep this lesson to me, I told my kids too. I was so smart. Got out of school, cut, stayed away all day from the areas, nobody seen me, no truant officer, no nothing. What I forgot, my older brother, and they called. So now my dad asked me, oh, so how was school? I got my book bag and everything. I ain't thinking about nothing. Well, school was good. Wham!
Lied to him.
Lie. Not thinking about that lesson then. And when he smacked me, it wasn't about the point that he smacked me. It was just the trust and know that I never did nothing to hurt you or whatever, so you should not be lying to me about something like this or anything. Because he gave me direct eye contact. And that's why I feel like a lot of kids, not the physical part as far as getting hit, but the respect that they have for their parents and the way they're supposed to carry themselves even when they outside the house. Once he hit me and I realized it, it was like years later, he already passed away. And I think I was like 17, and I was in the kitchen with my mom. Me and my mom talked like how we talk right now. We had that bond. And I was like, Mom, you know what? I should have been smarter that day. You would have been mad. She's like, what you been mad for? Mad for what? Mom, if I'd have told my dad the truth, that I didn't go to school, guess what? He wouldn't have hit me. She was like, see, you still thinking negative. It's positive, but you're still thinking negative. He said, but she said, your lesson that you should have learned was always be observant of your area and more so worry about giving respect to people. Your dad, even though we wasn't together, he stayed in your life no matter what. So you lying to him, that hurt his heart.
Yeah, that's the hurtful part, though.
That's
most hurtful part right
thing.
there. Yeah.
You was this thing about getting away, has candy, whatever stuff in your bag, but you lied to the person that helped put you here. And that person didn't do nothing, no matter, like I said, no matter if we was together or not,
He made sure he gave me money every week and took you out every weekend.
I appreciate that.
And that one lesson, I tell my kids every day, sometimes they get on my nerves, and it's like, I just reflect on that.
They just
no matter what,
they
tell
just
me
doing
the truth.
what kids supposed to do, man. That's what they do. They gonna test us. They gonna test our patience. You know, they think that they're the very first ones to do everything that they did the very first time. That's just what they do.
In third grade.
Yeah.
My question to everybody, right? I want to start with Keith. Mental health, man. How would you define it, and how exactly do you balance it?
For me, I think mental health is past trauma, things that we experience, where we come from. Mental health can come in all different forms. How do you balance it was the question? Understanding that it exists. To be aware is to be alive. My mother used to always tell me that. To be aware, Keith, is to be alive. And I tell my son that to this day. It's crazy how those life lessons come out of you as a parent. I just realizing that. I tell him that all the time. Every time he leave in the morning, I'm like, son, to be aware is to be alive. Knowing that mental health exists and being aware of it, and just finding cues to work on it for me. You know, whether it's reading, whether it's going to the gym. Everything I do is mind, body, spirit. That's my way of dealing with mental health, because I think we all deal with mental health at some capacity, but it's how you go through it and things that you're working on to heal those past traumas.
And let's aim to keep it around like 30, 45 seconds.
I think mental health is just clarity of the world, how you see the world, how you view the world, and then how you understand the world. That's, to me, that's your mental health. You know what I mean? Also, feelings of anxiety, feelings of depression, and how to control it. I think the only way you can really control these things is by understanding yourself, studying yourself, things you don't like, getting to know who one is, like getting to know yourself, what you like, what you don't like, why you don't like these things, you know what I mean, and the reason you're here. I think finding purpose is part of, you know what I mean, your mental health. And I think, you know what I mean, the more you look within to find out what you are and who you are, I feel like the quicker we understand what your individual mental health is. So that's it.
Yeah, I don't see mental health as like he got mental health issues. Nah, mental health, we all have a mental, and whether it's healthy or not, or whatever we struggle with, that's your mental health. And exactly what you said, studying yourself, studying these things. We was never taught the names or diagnosed in our communities. So now that we learn these things and see like, oh, man, that shit ain't right. Or that was kind of abusive, you know, or, you know, PTSD, or however, you got to tap into that and really study yourself and seek, you know, people to talk to, or different ways exercising. And I'm still trying to figure out how to balance it myself, though.
Yeah. For me, mental health, the way I define it, is kind of like how I define like physical health. You know, physical health, you're doing something where you exercise and walking. Spiritual health, doing something where you praying, meditating. Mental health, doing something that's going to help you mentally. You know, for me, that's writing. You know what I mean? Rhymes, bro. Like since I was 14, you know what I mean? Because I've always had issues with communicating the way I feel with people. So I always just write that shit out, and it's kind of like a journal. As far as how do I balance it, I don't, bro, and that's my problem, bro. I mean, I think that's probably why most of us is here. You know what I mean? I don't word up like, yeah, I don't balance that at all, and that shit is kind of fucked up. But I mean, I gotta like really prioritize that the same way I prioritize exercise, and like that shit should be the number one thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I gotta work on that.
Well, I agree with the past 4 statements about mental health. Mental health is like physical health. It's fact. Like meaning like you got physical health, mental health, spiritual health. What do we all need to do? Give energy to all and make it equivalent. The same way we give our physical body energy, attention, we gotta find solutions to recover from anything.
If I'm just working out all the time, but I'm not working on my mental, I'm gonna be an animal, because as soon as a person argues with me, I'm gonna wanna fight, because I automatically feel like I'm strong, I'm just gonna throw you somewhere. But if I'm working on my mental health with my physical health at the same time, I should have some type of form of balance. So that's what I'm working on now, because a lot of times I hold a lot of stuff in. I'm holding stuff in from 3rd grade, holding stuff in from 9th grade, and now I'm addressing it and communicating about it and finding that outlet person. And with this circle, I appreciate it as far as the invite and coming in and being able to talk about it, because this is something that we need. Even though when people see us, they be like, oh, Louis good, Reef good, Ip good, True good, Culture good, and my brother name, I forgot your name, Mario is good, because they see us off for appearance, or they see us by our clothes. They see us by what car we drive, or see us that we, our house, social media, or whatever it case may be, if we're on that. No, us personally, inside, gotta know that we're good, and we're working on ourselves. So that's how I see mental health, to work on it.
Hey. Coach?
Yeah, I just agree with all the brothers on the platform. You know, it's individual based. But yes, I see mental health as just like your physical. You know, we might have a good core, but our legs might be weak. So we have to be aware, pay attention to those things that we're weak at. You know, we might be strong with, you know, reading, but or certain topics, but we might be weak at finances, just to say the least. But mental health is just like physical health. It's something that's a daily workout. It's a mental workout. And I just want to say I appreciate you brothers here for this conversation. I really appreciate everyone's objective or how they felt on certain topics. And this is actually a form of healing for me, because little do a lot of you brothers know, each of you tapped into something that I personally dealt with. So I had the opportunity to sit back and listen to you, adapt, soak in, and I could just take that and just, you know, actively, you know, put that to practice.
Facts.
Indeed. Mental health. We have to understand that our thoughts create our feelings. Our feelings create a state of being. And then our state of being influences our actions. So that's the first thing that we gotta understand from the rip. Thoughts, feeling, states, actions. All right. So now if my thoughts are not as they should be, and I define that for myself. So, okay, if I'm in my car and my car starts to shake, something's off. If I'm doing a push-up, my shoulder, oh man, my shoulder feel weird. So I need that self-awareness to know that my thoughts are spiraling out of control. And the only way I know how to do that is because I know what healthy thoughts are. So again, there's knowledge, there's self-awareness. Because when I was living a negative life, that was just my life. I didn't know anything else. So self-awareness, knowledge, all these things are connected to mental health. And then the mind, it's supposed to operate a certain way. So if it's not operating the way it's supposed to, then that means something is off. Then what that means is, just like our body, it's not healthy. If you're having troubles in your marriage, they say you don't have a healthy relationship. If you're having stomach issues, if you're having headaches, they say there's something wrong with your health. So then we have to do something about it. If my car is shaking, I need to take it to a mechanic. So there's multiple outlets that I personally use. Now I'm gonna answer that. Oh, and keep in mind, healthy has the word heal, right? Heal. So now we have to heal this thing. And so what I do is, there's multiple things that I do. Brother Mario, I know you said you're still striving to figure that out for yourself. Number one is I have positive men around me. And I have to say specifically men, because women are great to converse with and talk to, but men can, I personally feel, listen, again, nothing against women or anything. I think that men should address men, because we know the world that we're coming from, and we are the only ones that really know how to be a man. So number one, I have positive men around my life, including y'all, but I also have more. I'm part of a married men's group. I'm part of a fitness group that meets every Sunday at 11 a.m., right? I got positive brothers that I grew up with that I still stay in contact with. So having positive people around me, that's number one, King. I meditate every day, even if it's just 5 minutes. And that doesn't mean I'm in a lotus pose like this, or it could be that. I'll go for a walk. I'll be in my car completely silent. You know, that's the time for me to just totally be with self. So meditation. Another thing that I do is I practice positive psychology. I'm constantly reading books, listening to audio books, listening to positive music. So I'm consuming, and I could send you a playlist if you want. I call it high vibration music. So I'm constantly consuming positive energy. Yeah, I got you. And audio books, you know what I mean? The other thing, which y'all know about, fitness. That's important. Some of this aggression, because, for example, if somebody's stressed out, they'll feel it in their neck, right? They'll get headaches. Stress will cause a heart attack. Now I want you to think about how crazy that is. Something in your mind can make your heart stop. Right? Like stress at work can make your heart stop. Think about that. So I think it's also important to like get that, because there's a concept called pain body, which is that pain also exists or stores in your body. For me, it's in my chest. I know it. I can feel it, right? When I'm angered or whatever. So it's make sure that I'm moving. The other thing is gratitude. Practice gratitude. It could always be worse. And so those are ways that I manage. Because I don't believe in balance. Those are ways that I manage my mental health, and that's how I define my mental health. I should also add some external resources that I've done, like therapy, counseling. Those are more like, I guess you could say, like just investments that I've done. And so I would say it's a combination of things for me. That's how I define mental health. The mind operating as it should. And if it's not, I'm staying up late, I'm thinking about something, I'm constantly having negative thoughts, I'm feeling myself not inspired like I normally am, right? All of those things, something is off. My car is shaking, or my elbow's hurting when I'm doing push-ups, right? It needs to be addressed.
Just to add to that.
Right there, real quick.
Gotcha. Tom, bro.
No, damn.
That was right on key though.
Perfect.
I was just great talking to you guys, man.
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts, man.
That was powerful, man.
Right,
Oh, man. I feel right. Yeah, man. Just to get it out.
This was powerful, family. This was powerful. Yo, I just want to thank everybody for coming through. It's not easy as men to talk about the things that bother us, that hurt us, that pain us. However, we're warriors, and as warriors, what we do is confront that pain, confront what makes us uncomfortable, and we get it done. I learned so much. I'm inspired, and we'll have more of these. Let's get it.
That's a fact. So I say, man, I appreciate first and foremost Keys for even hosting us. You know, we mentioned it one time. He said, all right, well, you know what? Bring it on down, bring the brothers in, let's get it done. Truth, I mean, just open it up from the knowledge, then bringing in the production, Asim, just having an open mind, and then everybody else that came in. I mean, hands down, appreciate every single one of the brothers that came in, did what they had to do, and opened up their minds, body, and soul to it.
And I just want to say, there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. It's a myth. Let's get it.
Word.
Yeah. Word.